This is Bobby.
And this is Jennifer.
And we're from Cleveland, Ohio.
And you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
This is Bobby.
And this is Jennifer.
And we're from Cleveland, Ohio.
And you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Hello. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. Currently originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. It is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city. And, of course, no weekend coming up sooner than the actual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions. That will be taking place in Cleveland, Ohio this coming weekend. Of course, the likes of Bon Jovi being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And if you are a Hall of Fame rock and roll fan of Bon Jovi, you know that John Bon Jovi has pulled off a coup and gotten the one and only, my favorite talk show host ever on the face of the earth, Howard Stern, to come to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, the barbecue capital of the North Coast, to induct Bon Jovi into the Hall of Fame. So very excited to see how that ends up going, getting a lot of lead up to the trip coming up this weekend. And, of course, barring any vacations that Howard and the staff plan to take, we'll get a full rundown next Monday. And that could go on for days because he has been very, very, very under protest about kind of being tricked into doing this induction, which he thought was going to be in New York City. But indeed, John knew well in advance that it was actually going to be here in Cleveland, Ohio. And his knowledge of the show, he knew that Howard, not a very big fan of traveling, not even outside of his own apartment, let alone going to Cleveland. However, the weather promises to be spectacular, especially as compared here to the last handful of weeks. And, of course, the winter all by itself. So, not to get off on too much of a tangent right off the bat, looking forward to this coming weekend. Who knows what kind of live audio I might get as I venture down the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. By the way, fun fact, have I ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Never once. Can't do it. I've heard so much about it. If I live here, then why would I do it? If people tell you it tastes like crap, here, have a bite, why would you take a bite? I listen to a lot of people. The majority say, for what you have to pay to get in, it's not really worth it. So I've been a little on a protest of my own for going down there, even though it's 10 minutes literally from my house. Maybe this will be the summer that I decide to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We'll see. Anyway, I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. We have a lot to get to this evening. If you want to get in touch with the show, here's how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to greg@bbqcentralshow.com or on the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And I have to tell you, I have had nothing but continuous issues and trials and errors and problems with the website here, which has to be going on. I mean, how long have I been talking about it? A month? Almost a month, at least a solid 3 weeks. And literally it came out of nowhere. Everything was fine for the last 10 years. And then all of a sudden a switch flips The website can't handle the traffic, bot attacks, brute force situations. Not to mention the fact that I also went out and funded a T-shirt sales campaign. And the day that I put it up, of course, wouldn't it seem to fit in the timeline that everything goes wrong that following day as I run Facebook ads and all this other stuff? It doesn't work. Internet 500 connections going on all over the place. Then finally, I think I've gotten to the end of the problem here, where I've transferred the domain name from Yahoo, and Yahoo isn't really the owner. It's some company called Two Cows, which somehow should be barbecue related. But they're completely hands off and no tech support, no help, refer you back to Yahoo. They end up being the worst. So today was the day that I had to decide if I did or did not really want to transfer a domain from Two Cows to HostGator. And I did not say no. I did not cancel that request. So hopefully in the next couple of days or so, we will be pointed to the dedicated server. You can get on. You can buy my T-shirts, extra large, double extra large, triple extra large, quad extra large, reasonably priced, couple bucks for me. You can support the show, but I'm not going to do any more promotion until I know the DNS is pointed in the right direction. But we are really coming close to having that finally resolved, which is probably close to a month at this point. So anyway, that's the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. There should not be any issues going forward once that DNS resolves to the new IP and the dedicated server, and away we go. Coming up in the first hour, your second Tuesday of the month regular guest. He is the creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website. He is a man that makes videos with, whoa, hold on. I better back this up just for 1 second. He is a man that makes cooking videos with co-hosts that are really hot. Meathead Goldwyn. AmazingRibs.com. Sorry, just Meathead, not Meathead Goldwyn. Just Meathead. One day I'm going to learn, but it's been a lot of years, over a decade that I've said that. He'll be in his normal 2-segment spots. We have some Facebook questions. If you want to jump in on YouTube chat, more than happy to take your questions live with Meathead. If you want to go nuts and actually call in a question, we do have that technology as well, 216-220-0966. I will put you up. Meathead will answer your call live on the show right here. That will take the balance of the first hour. Then we'll move to the second hour, and we will be joined by a longtime sponsor of this show. He is a competitive competition barbecue cook, one of the most consistent competition cooks over the last probably decade, if you go back and look at it now. To his credit, already in 2018, couple GCs, an RGC, 3 700 pins, I think 3 perfect scores as well. Dave BOuska, Butcher BBQ, will be joining me. And we will be talking about the quick start to 2018's competition season. We'll be talking about any trends that he is seeing in the competition world here that either laying out right off the bat in 2018 or things that he might think will take place over the course of this calendar year. And we'll get into some other items as well, some of his products. I have a hidden agenda. He's well-versed in this hidden agenda, but I do have a hidden agenda as it relates to grilling oil I'm going to ask him about specifically, so stay tuned for that in the second hour. As time permits, we'll do some giveaways and all that good stuff as well. 216-220-0966, the number to call. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com to send in your questions for either Meathead or Dave. Both are amenable and happy to answer your questions. All right, if you're getting this on the podcast, go ahead and do me a favor. Stop what you're doing right now. Go on over and rate and review this show. This helps bump visibility in your particular platform, whether it's through iOS, whether it's through Android, doesn't matter, or Stitcher, or whatever the latest brand of podcast coolness is on how you get your shows. I would specifically appreciate that. So take 2 minutes, positively, negatively rate and review. 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, you name it. I'm happy to get it. And again, this helps bump visibility from your particular podcast platform, and I thank you in advance for your help. Also, in these podcasts, if you're getting them, if that's how you listen to this show, make sure you listen all the way through. I've been running contests to give away free shirts, those freshly minted free shirts, not the ones that are for sale on Amazon. By the way, if you find my link tree, you can go ahead and link on over to all the great merch that is kind of developing. I'm not going to over-merch it. I'm not one of those guys, but just some stuff where if you like the show, gives you the opportunity to represent the show as you walk around your particular city, township, or village. And there you go. We're off and running. Meathead Goldwyn coming up out of the break, and Dave BOuska in the second hour. Let me talk to you quickly about Traeger grills. You know, behind every great meal is a great grill or cooker, but not just any cooker, a Traeger cooker. And the Timberline is Traeger's most advanced cooker yet. It allows you to grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, and barbecue like a pro, no matter what your level of experience is, thanks to the incredible wood-fired taste. Seriously, you don't know flavor till you're cooking with it. Traeger grills use all-natural hardwood pellets as fuel, so you're literally cooking with flavor. From low and slow smoked ribs to a seared steak and even a baked apple pie, Traegers can handle it all. And the Traeger Timberline makes it even easier thanks to the wire fire capability. You can check on your cooks, kick up the temperature, and set custom cook cycles anytime, anywhere, all right from your phone through the Traeger app. In fact, I need to go check my brisket right now. Find one at your local Traeger dealer or check them out online at TraegerGrills.com. That's TraegerGrills.com. Want to beef up your barbecue game? Sure, who doesn't? Traeger Shop Class is going coast to coast, bringing barbecue knowledge and amazing wood-fired food everywhere they go, taught by professional pitmasters. You'll take home all the skills you need to reach barbecue glory on your street or cul-de-sac, neighborhood. Find a shop class near you and sign up today. TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. That's TraegerGrills.com/shopclass. And aside from that Timberline model of cooker, if you're just somebody that's looking to get into the pellet cooking industry, or you've thought about it, you don't want to lay out for the high level, which I can certainly understand, you might want to check out their Pro series of cookers as well. A lot of those can be found at the Ace Hardware stores. There's an Ace right down the street from me, fully loaded with the Pro Series line of cookers. So TraegerGrills.com to find a dealer, TraegerGrills.com to find out all the information. And if you want to take one of those shop classes, the likes of a Chad Ward, a Diva Q, Doug Scheiding, host of other popular barbecue folks giving those Traeger shop class. That's TraegerGrills.com/shop-class. Meathead Goldwyn. No, just Meathead coming up out of the break. Stick around, I'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, this portion of the show is brought to you by Butcher BBQ. Makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. Need I say more? All the Butcher BBQ products tested on the competition circuit and doing quite well, I might add. We'll talk to Dave about that in the second hour. As well as in backyards like mine worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood. And visit ButcherBBQ.com to stock up now. Always trust your butcher. The second Tuesday of the month brings a visit from the guy that created the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website ever on the face of the earth. I know him simply as Meathead. Hi, Meathead.
Hey, Greg. Hi, Centralites.
What's the news?
The news is I can't get my camera working.
Yeah, we got your camera. Well, I mean, I see you. You're to your right. There you are, right there.
my other camera.
Oh.
My good camera is not cooperating right now. I don't know why.
Sounds like you're feeding back into me too for some reason.
Yeah.
You got an extra window open somewhere?
No, I haven't got. Hold on, stand by. I know exactly what the cause of that is. That's yeah, that's a Facebook window.
Yes, kill that. I mean,
There it goes. That's
Meathead.
gone.
First time on the show, Meathead?
Yeah. new to computers, new to cameras.
Technology.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
That's all right. Meathead joining me here on the show from AmazingRibs.com. So you're a fan of my new logo, I understand.
Yeah, I like that look. That's a nice design. Who did that for you?
Fresh, crisp, simple, easy to read, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, who did it?
Some guy named Kevin Nielsen. He's Doug Scheiding's buddy down in Texas, and his business
Doug.
is logos, and then he can obviously put those logos on shirts. This is actually Doug's shirt that I'm wearing, but I have the similar material. It's that tri-blend, so a little bit more expensive per shirt, but I think you get a lot more value and probably wearability in the lifespan of the shirt as well.
Doug's a Traeger boy, too. He knows his stuff.
That's right, no doubt. So,
yeah.
Meathead, from time to time, we talk about definitions, or we like to bring up hot-button terms of the industry,
yes.
and we love to banter back and forth. Sometimes we're in agreement. I like it better when we're on counterpoint angles, just because it makes for a little bit better radio. Last time you were on the show, I believe we talked about that term pitmaster that everybody seems to be throwing around here
that
pretty
seems to be
ambivalently.
a run.
That's right. We have also conversed about the term barbecue a number of times on the show, especially way back when you used to come on. You have some new information as to how this website, an up-and-coming website called Google, defines the term barbecue. What can you tell me on how Google defines it?
Well, Google is God. If Google says something is so, it must be so.
Must it?
Google, we've been having an interesting phenomenon. I move my microphone a little closer.
We, as in Amazing Ribs?
AmazingRibs.com. Yeah.
Okay.
We moved from one hosting system to another, an all new database program to run the website, capable of more traffic and stuff. And we knew that in the process, because we changed URLs, all the articles, the URL changed, we would lose some traffic. That's just, getting Google caught up and up to speed. And we took a terrible hit. We took a real nosedive in January and February, and it was greater than we thought. We lost a lot of traffic, money too, and could not figure it out. This is more than what we expected. What's going on? And so we start investigating, and we have an SEO consultant who works for us. This is SEO is internet language for search engine optimization.
Yes.
Basically, they teach you all the tricks that make Google like you. And Google loves us, or always has loved us. And that's one of the reasons the site is so popular. They consider it an authoritative source. And so if you, for example, Googled barbecue ribs, it almost always took you to our website. That we were one of the top 3, number 1, 2, or 3.
Yep.
Sometimes we slipped as low as 5. It moves, but we're always in the top 5, and that means you get a lot of traffic. You slip below 5, and you don't get a lot of traffic. Well, we were down around 7, 8, 9, 10, and below. Couldn't figure it out until we learned Google has altered its algorithms, its new system, and it's a clever move. Google is in the business of helping people find what they want.
Yeah.
And Google decided that they would measure how long you spend on a website. And they would use that in factoring how you rank. So if you search for barbecue ribs, for example, and you come to our website and you like what you find and you spend time reading articles and print the recipe, and Google's going to move you up the list. Well, we were already pretty high on the list. But if you come to our website in January in a blizzard from Boston, and you click on our website and look at it and say, I'm not going out there. My smoker's under 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And then you go over to crockpot.com and you get a recipe for crockpot ribs, barbecue ribs is what it was called. And you spend some time there. Google moves you up the ladder. And so we have discovered that this winter, we're taking a beating in Google because indoor recipes, particularly because of the blizzards along the eastern seaboard, which is where, 25% of the population lives, people were Googling barbecue ribs. And to the American public, barbecue comes in a bottle, and it's red and sweet and sticky and has nothing to do with fire and smoke.
It's a sauce, not a cooking method, is what you're saying.
It's a flavor profile.
Oh, dear.
And so they search for barbecue ribs. They get crockpot.com. They love it, and they see our site, and they click away. And so it's a brave new world. We're going to face in the future serious problems with traffic in the winter, but Google hath spoken.
Is there any way? Is there any way to work around it? Can you have your adept
there's a lot
SEO?
of tricks you can do to make sure Google likes you, and little stuff, writing your headlines and writing your meta descriptions and all that kind of stuff. But basically, what it comes down to is, what are people looking for? How much time are they spending on a website? And that says to Google, this is what they want. And so we're going to give the public what it wants. And the public, whether we like it or not, thinks barbecue means red sticky sauce. And it can come from a crock pot or an oven or anything you want. It has nothing to do with grills and smokers.
So would it be blasphemous for me to throw out there that AmazingRibs.com also start curating a crock pot section and an oven section?
Right.
Really?
Well, we have had a crock pot ribs recipe on the website for a long time. And a few years ago, we went up to Seattle where the Chef Step guys are, and they're big into sous vide. And we did indoor ribs where we tried to simulate outdoor flavor, where we did a whole bunch of, we smoked all our spices.
I remember that. I saw that.
And we got that recipe. But absolutely, the hot new gadget that I think is hotter than the sous vide device now is the Instapot. Are you familiar with the Instapot?
I think we did talk about Instapot either going into Christmas or the holiday gift-giving suggestions that we did, but I'm still not overly familiar with it.
I got mine today. It's in the next room. I can bring it in and show it to you on break. It's basically this is the 6-quart model. It's a tub.
Yep.
And it's digital, and it's like a crock pot. It can do crock pot. It's also a pressure cooker.
Oh.
So you can get all the tenderness and speed from a pressure cooker. Pressure cookers are really good at stews and stuff like that, and really good at the same sorts of meats that barbecue is. They're really good at breaking down connective tissues. And they say you can even make yogurt in it. It's, like a one-trick pony that does all kinds of stuff. So I got mine in today, and you're damn right. We're going to have crock pot pulled pork and barbecue chicken indoor. We're going to be ready next winter to give people what they want. I mean, we're not going to call it barbecue, I hope. We'll try to find our way around that. Or if they're there, we'll try to teach people that, you and I have gone round and round about the definition of barbecue. And in my mind, if there's smoke, if there's fire, it's barbecue. I don't care what temperature you're cooking at. I don't care what kind of device you're cooking on. But to me, it's just got to have smoke and or fire.
So this would classify as non-barbecue. There's no smoke and there's no fire.
Focue.
Faux Q. Yeah.
Faux Q.
That's what
You've
people
heard
are
the
going to be
word. I
saying,
think it's
right?
a great word.
Yeah.
Faux Q, and that we will we'll have that there for people who. I mean, hey, look, I remember when I was in college in the dorm, I was craving barbecue, and I would have settled for crockpot. And so we're not going to stray too far into indoor cooking. That's just not our métier. That's not what we do. That's not our identity. But in any case, the point here is we have had this argument, this debate going back to when we first met is what is the definition of barbecue? And I think Google hath spoken. Barbecue is a flavor profile in Google's mind. And all I can do is pray that as the weather warms up and people go searching for barbecue ribs and barbecue brisket and all the other good stuff that we have on our website, they will click on our site, stay longer, we'll move back up the ladder, and traffic will get back up to where it belongs during the summer. But I have just found that this new search algorithm from Google probably is giving the consumer more of what they want, but is it giving them barbecue?
Meathead joining me here on the show from AmazingRibs.com. That kind of dovetails nicely into one of the main topics that we're going to be talking about this evening. At some point, the winter will release us from its grasp, which it seems to be holding on to the very bitter end. It was snowing yesterday here in Cleveland. It really didn't get any warmer than 40 degrees today. Now, the weekend promises to be in those 60s to middle 60s as we get ready for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. But, I mean, geez, this one has just lingered and lingered. But the spring will come, correct?
How can you have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies without halter tops?
I don't even know how you can have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies anywhere but Cleveland, and they have them in New York City every.
Yeah, they do.
So I think it's every other year they come back to Cleveland and do them and they don't even do them at the Rock Hall, or maybe they just started, but they've been using the bigger theaters and the theater district of Cleveland, which, by the way, the theater district in Cleveland is second in size only to the ones in New York City, by the way.
Get out.
I'm very serious, and I also educated John Marcus, our friend, to that very fact, who's trotting around a play that he's been doing a lot of success with here over the last couple of years, the Fabulous Lipitones.
John has a wonderful play that he's told me about. The
Fabulous Lipitones.
The Lipitones.
Yeah.
Love I mean, he's told me the story. I'm a theater goer. Wife and I subscribe to several theaters. We go a lot. I'd love to see that on stage.
Yeah.
He's such a talent, that man.
No doubt. I've tried to get him to bring it to Cleveland, but that has not seemed to come to pass at this moment.
I've offered to help him grease the path here in Chicago, too, because we go to a lot of theater.
Yeah, all right.
But
we'll maintain that. So
I
what
just
about...
think it's fascinating that Google, as omnipotent as it is, has redefined the word barbecue. And if I was really upset because they hurt my wallet, I'd take a gun and, oh, never mind.
What are you talking about? Whoa.
Well, somebody got very upset at Google recently and went down to their campus with a gun.
Yeah, that was YouTube, I think, actually.
Yeah, well, YouTube is a Google
It's all the same stuff, no doubt about it. All right, so I was trying to make a long, convoluted segue from winter into spring, and, of course, spring would signify whatever a grilling season is, I guess, to the same people that think barbecue is a flavor profile and not a cooking method. So one of the things that we want to make sure that we're doing properly as we're gearing up for barbecue and grilling season is to make sure that our apparatus is in proper working condition.
Yeah. I mean, I grill all year round. I know you do. I bet half your listeners do.
At least.
But, when there's a foot of snow out there, sometimes we just give up and, what happens is the grill does need a little fine tuning in springtime, and the smoker. It really is. A lot of people, let's start with the biggest misconception, the mythology here. A lot of people think that you really need a layer of grease on the inside of your cooker for it to taste good. And that's just not so. Grease smoke from grease. If you start up your grill and it's just bellowing smoke, like a gas grill, it can really bellow. That's grease that's burning, and grease flavor is not as good as wood flavor.
Right.
Just because it's smoke, it doesn't mean it tastes good. And there's some merit to the concept of having a carbon layer on the inside of your pit. It dulls the surface. It can help keep the heat moderated. But you don't want to have a thick layer of grease on the inside of your machine. So if you bundle it up and put it under the cover and haven't touched it for a while, and you're getting ready to start cooking this spring, get the hose with a pressure nozzle on it, or if you have a pressure washer, and just clean that thing out. You're not going to hurt its performance by washing out all that grease. Just get it clean and shiny and ready for the season. Get all that grease out of there. And I'll tell you, if you talk to some of the top competition cooks, you have Butcher coming on next. Ask him. This guy's won half the competitions in the world. A lot of these guys clean up after every cook, and they clean with pressure wash, with steam. They get it clean. The same thing with a restaurant. I mean, restaurants want their cooking apparatus clean. So get that grease and slime out of there. Now, think ahead. Where's all that grease going to go?
Right.
If it's going to land on your grass, your dogs and cats and deer, raccoons,
coyotes.
Your dog's going to come in with a black stripe down her back,
Right.
So you want to find a place to do that, in a gutter or someplace where it'll go down into the sewers, or put a tarp under it. Some way you got to get rid of that grease. I mean, you can put a bucket. A lot of pits have a drain pipe or something.
Right.
Try to catch that grease. I mean, you can buff and shine the exterior if you want, especially if you got a fancy stainless steel. I don't worry about that. I don't even cover most of my grills. Most of my grills and smokers are well built. They don't need to be covered. I've got one where water gets into the drip pan, the grease pan, and overflows and the grease gets out. So I try to cover that. But that's just crappy design.
What about a lot of people have gas grills here, especially the new folks that are listening. They probably have at least one gas grill around.
Yeah,
you always hear about spiders getting into Venturis, and do you need to pull the burners out and do any type of oxygen gas adjustment?
I used to think that was one of those barbecue myths, the spider in the Venturi, that they like to get in the little holes, and I actually happened to me. The Venturi, where your knobs are, they're on a panel. Just behind the knob is a system of airflow controls. It's very simple usually, but basically it controls the air which mixes with the gas. And you have to have, it's like the carburetor. You got to have the right gas and air mix. And if you do, the flame burns mostly blue. If it's too much oxygen, it burns mostly yellow. Yellow flame, either on charcoal or gas, indicates impurities coming off in the combustion. Charcoal grills put up a lot of yellow flame. That's why when you get a charcoal grill burning down really hot, it doesn't have a lot of flame and it doesn't make a lot of smoke. There's not a lot of impurities. But gas grills, you want to get a kind of a blue flame. And now on Weber's, they have an adjustment screw, and it's pretty tight and it's hard to adjust. They don't want you monkeying with it. They think they've got the air and gas mixed down right, and you probably don't need to monkey with it, but it might, and with age, things change. Dirt might build up in there. But in that tube and in that opening, spiders can take up residence. In fact, I've heard of wasps and bees. I've never had it happen to me, but I've seen pictures. People have sent me pictures of wasps down in those tubes, because you know how they find their way into little cracks and crevices. For sure. So you want to look down in those tubes. And I've heard of guys, they come off sometimes pretty easy. I've heard of guys taking them out and just putting a hose in it and blowing them out. So you want to get those clean out as much as you can.
Meathead from AmazingRibs.com joining me here on the show. Meathead will come back and answer some Facebook questions here, and maybe you can grab that neti pot or Instapot neti pot. Show us how to do the neti pot, Meathead, when you come. Instapot, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue while Meathead fetches the Instapot, and then we'll answer some Facebook questions. Attention, folks in the business of barbecue, not just consumers, but folks in the business. What can I tell you about Southside Market and Barbecue? Established in 1882, Southside Market Barbecue, the oldest barbecue joint in Texas, has been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They offer premium Central Texas barbecue products, slow smoked over real wood, that's post oak. Shipping, distributing, manufacturing sausages for companies across the U.S., from food trucks to multi-chain restaurants. Southside sausage can be on your menu too. All meats are processed in the on-site USDA-inspected facility, a trusted partner with a focus on quality and, most importantly, authenticity. Wholesale options available, shipping nationwide via the FedEx. Food service distribution via Cisco, U.S. Foods, and Martin Foods. They're partnering with the biggest names in food distribution. So if you own a barbecue restaurant, or maybe you don't own a barbecue restaurant, but you want to get really great sausages and other barbecue products in your facility, this is the way to do it, and do it fast. Co-packaging capable, from R&D to package completion. They follow your recipe, or they can help you develop something brand new for your facility. Private label opportunities also available. What does that mean? Well, let's say I wanted to make up a quick brand of beef sausage called Barbecue Central Show's Beef Sausage. I contact SouthsideMarket.com, put in a request, and say, hey, can you private label your brand of beef sausage, but put it under my name? I want to put it under my label, Barbecue Central Show Beef Sausage. That's private labeling. They do that, a lot of them. Again, here's what you want to do. Visit SouthsideMarket.com for more information. That's SouthsideMarket.com. Now, for anybody listening, not just businesses, 10% off if you want to use the promo code BBQ Central at checkout for all the online orders. That's 10% off any online order at SouthsideMarket.com with promo code BBQ Central. It's going to save you a bunch on shipping right off the bat. All right, we're back with more Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Ready to get on the air? Call 216-220-0966. Now, let's get back to the LeBron James of barbecue talk. Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by CookinPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit CookinPellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also, if you want, purchase from Amazon.com as well. That's CookinPellets.com. Great new flavors, too, Chris Becker and the gang out there, so make sure you check them out and download their free app. All right, Meathead, you got this Instapot?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah, I'm sorry my high-def camera is not working.
Looks like a rice cooker.
This is what she looks like.
Yeah, looks like a rice cooker.
I think, honest to God, I don't remember the exact price. I think I paid $149 for it on Amazon.
All right.
It just arrived today. All right, so you got a digital panel here, and there's some, touch-sensitive buttons and dials and knobs. And it's a pressure cooker also, so it's got a locking lid that's, pretty easy to operate.
Yeah.
Again, I just got it today. I've never cooked with it. I don't know darn thing about it. It's got a stainless steel pot that goes in there, and I guess that's where the food goes. And it's become all the rage. I mean, $150. I think it's made in Canada. And I'll try to know more about it next time we're on, but a lot of people are cooking with it, and I know that websites like Serious Eats, one of my favorite websites, has got recipes for it. Melissa Clark, who is not Melissa Cookston, Melissa Clark at the New York Times. She's, one of my idols. She's just a really creative, great cook. And she has a cookbook on how to use this thing. So I'm looking forward to experimenting with it. Not a whole lot because summer is coming.
Right.
And I think I
hope.
I hope it's coming. And I'm going to get outside. Plus, we're working on a new cookbook, and I've got about 150 recipes to create and test and photograph, and I've been writing away on that, so I'm psyched for all that.
YouTube.
But I noticed I just got to jump in here.
Yep.
I'm not going to name any names, but
Please.
I got the
no
Facebook
names,
page
please. All right.
on my other screen here, and there's somebody in there going, "Gas grills, boo!" Come on now, people. Gas grills, charcoal grills, they all have a purpose. You have an oven indoors, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you cook only outside on your charcoal grill?
Oh.
Do you say indoor oven? Boo. Gas grill is handy dandy, and there are some things that it does better than charcoal.
Yeah.
And I like it. And on a Tuesday night when I'm in a hurry and I want to whoop up some chicken breasts in a hurry or some fish, I throw my grill grates down there and crank up the gas grill, throw some pellets or sawdust, and I'm eating in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's just great, handy dandy, and I can make flavor on a gas grill with fire and smoke. And all I care about is what the quality on the table is, not how it gets there. And that means if there's a good way to do it with this goofy thing, it ain't barbecue, but Google says it's barbecue, sons of bitches.
That's right. By the way, I own a gas grill. I'm very happy with it, and I cook steak with my gas grill. How about that?
Oh, now that I draw the line.
Guess what? It's really good, by the way. Just ask everybody that eats at my house. It's absolutely fantastic.
Really, I'm being a snob now, too. 80% of the gas, of the barbecue, steakhouses, cook on gas.
Yeah, right.
They all have these giant broilers. It's the temperature that matters. I mean, you cook a steak, it cooks fast. There's no time for the charcoal to give it flavor. And if you're doing charcoal right, it doesn't make flavor. Charcoal is for heat, wood is for flavor.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Hold on.
All my favorite steakhouses cook on gas.
All right, let's do this. You just dovetailed nicely into a Facebook question. This is from Steve, whose last name that I'm not going to pronounce because I'll kill it. Let's say Kwasaborski. But Steve, I apologize. I'm sure I just ruined that last name. But Steve K says, I worded this poorly last month. You will remember this question from last month, Meathead, because you were talking about how you were pulling out hammers and nails and dog's feet out of lump charcoal bags. You remember that? So he said, I worded this poorly last month. Will Meathead provide recommendations for brands of charcoal, lump, briquette, otherwise, and pellets like he does with cookers? We know he prefers briquettes, but would AmazingRibs.com be expanded to include quantitative analysis on different brands of barbecue fuel sources at some point?
No.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. There's a guy doing it out there already, and
Naked
he's doing
Wiz.
it great. Naked Wiz.
Yep,
and
Naked Wiz.
He's doing it great, and there's no sense reinventing the wheel and competing with him. My only objection to him is he's totally devoted to lump charcoal.
Yeah.
And I prefer briquettes. And we've talked about this before, so I won't dwell on it.
Good.
But I'll make my best arguments in a hurry.
Yeah.
Cooking is all about temperature control, all about control. I'm a control freak. I own a business. I want control over people. I want control over my website. I want control over Google. I want control, and particularly when I'm cooking. And briquettes, each little pillow is a quantity of heat. And 2 of them produce twice as much heat as one. 40 of them produce 40 times as much as heat. And a Weber chimney holds 80 of them. Half a chimney is 40. I can control the amount of heat that I start my fire with by how many briquettes I have in there. When I cook with lump, I have every which shape known to man. I don't know the source of the wood. And if it's carbonized all the way through, which briquettes always are, then it will burn clean. But if it's a big, thick chunk, sometimes in the center, it's still wood. It's not char. And if it's still wood, it produces smoke. And I don't know what kind of smoke. I don't know whether it's pine or alder or what. And so I'd like to be able to control the wood. So and if you cook with lump, it spits and sputters and pops, and it makes more smoke than charcoal. Charcoal is for heat, wood is for flavor. I cook with charcoal briquettes so I can control the quantity of heat. I wait till they're ashed over so they're not producing much smoke, and I get all my smoke and flavor from wood. And I just think there's a lot of people who are attracted to lump because it looks and feels natural.
Mhm.
And we all want natural in this world. We want natural foods. I got news for you. Dog poop is natural. Arsenic is natural. If you got to have natural, go have a bowl of dog poop, for crying out loud. I want control.
Meathead, let me ask you this question because I saw it come up a couple different times over the course of our getting questions from the Centralites. I'm seeing it pop up here on the YouTube Instant Chat. Is AmazingRibs.com supplemented fundage-wise by Kingsford any at all degree?
No, we did a series of videos about 5 years ago.
Yep.
That they did fund, and we just use their product, and I show people how to use it. They haven't given us a penny since. And they don't underwrite us. They don't advertise. I don't believe they're advertising with us. I don't know who advertises. I don't pay any attention. All the ads come from outside sources. So they did underwrite the cost of a series of videos. But I cook with lump, and I mean with a briquette. And the only reason they did it is because they knew I was a briquette advocate.
Yeah.
I didn't become a briquette advocate and then. They gave us money, and then I became a briquette. I had been advocating for briquettes for years, and that's why they underwrote the video series.
All right, so do you only recommend then Kingsford briquettes, or do you like Stubbs briquettes, or like it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Harry Sue, whom I know you talk to occasionally,
Yep.
Great competition cook out on the West Coast. He said it right. I buy whatever's on sale.
That's it.
Yeah, stuff comes on sale this spring. Kingsford does come on sale. It's available everywhere. I've been leaning towards the some of their newer briquettes, but people seem to get the heebie-jeebies about the fact that there's cornstarch in them to bind. It's made. The briquettes are made from sawdust. To bind it together, they use cornstarch. For crying out loud, cornstarch is pretty benign stuff. There's a few other additives in there, and I don't think any of them is in the least bit unhealthy or dangerous. If we're worried about health, we probably shouldn't be using smoke at all, because I'm here to tell you, someday in our future, probably sooner than we want, somebody's going to come out with a report that says smoked meats are dangerous. So,
Do you have inside information on that, Meathead?
No. Everything's dangerous.
Yeah, of course. So let me ask you this follow-up question to the Naked Whiz. Would you buy the Naked Whiz to get their cavalcade of archives into the AmazingRibs.com stockade?
Well,
is that a business potential opportunity?
I don't
You ever
know
thought
if
about
he's
that?
for sale. I've never broached the site. I've never met the man. I've looked at the site.
Is he making any money?
I don't know. I have no idea. Since he is focused on primarily lump, and since I'm not a lump user, and there's another reason, is as we have on the website, I often find a lot of dust in the lump bag, which is relatively unusable. And readers send me pictures of other stuff they find in there, like computer cables, chunks of plastic pipe and stuff. So I'm not sure about the quality control at a lot of these factories. But in any case, I mean, if he wanted to throw in together, boy, that'd be cool. Yeah.
All right,
I'd love to look into it.
Next question from Robbie Murray. I recently went from a WSM to a reverse flow by Built Right. I'm not familiar with that brand, by the way. Using just sticks. I noticed that my bark is not as dark or heavy as what I had gotten on my WSM with charcoal. Am I getting too clean of a burn or too much draft flow, or does charcoal just put off more, which attracts to the outside or which attaches to the outside?
Well, that's really interesting. Bark is dependent on a number of things. Humidity is a major one, and what's in the rub is a major one. Basically, bark is jerky. It's dried meat, and it's dried meat with meat juices mixed with your rub. One of the reasons why a lot of rubs have sugar is it does help create a stiffer bark. But if you think of the bark as jerky, you're drying out the meat. So your bark maybe, I mean, I don't know if you're basting or mopping or spritzing, but that's going to have an effect on your bark. And if you're wrapping in foil or butcher paper, that's going to have an effect on your bark. So I don't know for sure how he's cooking. But my gut instinct is if you're mopping, basting, or spritzing, cut back on it, or at least for the last hour of the cook to give the bark a chance to dry up. If you're wrapping in foil, pull the meat out of the foil and put it back on for the last hour so it can dry out a bit. Airflow is a factor. If you've got the exhaust vent, the chimney sealed up tight, air isn't flowing through there as much.
Yeah.
And if you have that open, air will exhaust. You'll get all. I mean, if you've got really good ventilation, there's a lot of air moves through a stick burner. A lot. Oh, you've got a stick burner.
Yep.
I've never measured it, but there's a lot of air. I mean, it's like an engine.
Oh yeah.
And it'll blow right through there, and that'll dry out the surface, and that'll create bark. So you got to experiment, and also take a look at your rub and see if you've changed your rub any.
Meathead, are you going to Minneapolis this weekend?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Because a guy that eats tiger meat sandwiches, Ron Storbush, is going to meet you. He's very excited.
Yeah, I've been honored to be invited to the University of Minnesota. The Meat Science Lab has a barbecue and meat seminar for the Minnesota Barbecue Society, and I'm one of the speakers. And I'm really psyched, and I'm looking forward to touring the lab and meeting the scientists and meeting the barbecuers from Minnesota. I'm leaving Friday, and I'm doing my presentation Saturday. And unfortunately, I got to come back Sunday. I was originally planning on spending Sunday in the library, but I've got some other obligations, so I got to come back. I'm psyched for it. I've never been on the campus, and it should be a lot of fun.
All right, so look for Ron Strobush. He's very excited to meet you. Also, Ryan Vermes, who is also asking that if you will be bringing any copies of your books while you're up there.
I'll probably just bring one or two. Schlepping books and selling books. I come to educate. I really don't want to be a bookstore. It just seems a little demeaning to be sitting there selling books. It's on Amazon. It's in all the bookstores. If you've got a book and you want me to sign it, I would be honored.
Yes.
But I'm probably just going to bring a copy or two to wave around and give it a plug, but I'm not going to be selling books. It's just not my style. But introduce yourself. Tell me you're a Rempe fan. It'd be great to shake your hand and say hello.
Meathead, very quickly, Steve Ray, my embedded correspondent from Tennessee, is asking one cooker/smoker rest of your life. Which one would it be?
Wow.
The Sophie's choice of barbecue and grilling, folks.
Well, I mean, all right, let's think aloud here. I have to have something that can get really high temp and grill as well as smoke. Gee, it could easily be a high-end Weber kettle with a slow and sear.
Well, why not the Weber Charcoal Summit?
That would be a good choice.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
Great size, can grill, can do low and slow.
That could be a real good choice. Yeah, that would be a real good choice. I mean, the difference is baseline Weber kettle, $100, slow and sear, $90. Miscellaneous, another $100, and you're up and running for $300. Get a top end kettle for $300-$400. You're in cheap.
Yeah.
The Weber Summit kettle charcoal grill is around 1,500
to
something
start.
like that.
Yeah, 15 to start, and with the cart, you're towards $2,000.
But that's a nice choice. That's a nice machine. I'm sorry I didn't think of that. The reason I didn't think of it is I don't have one. Max won't let me have it.
Well, that's why. That's why we don't like Max. That's right. Hey, Meathead. You can find Meathead right here on the show the second Tuesday of every month. In the meantime, you find him at AmazingRibs.com. And don't click off because there's not a lot of crock pot barbecue right now. Stay on that website as long as you possibly can. Meathead, will check you next month.
Always a pleasure to talk to you in the Centralites. And glad to be yielding the floor to Butcher BBQ.
There you go. Good luck in Minnesota. There he is. Meathead. From AmazingRibs.com.
All guests appear via the Traeger Grills hotline.
Right.
Yummy.
If you're going to be up there in Minnesota, check out Meathead, as he said. Tell him the Barbecue Central show sent you. Tell him that his segments are just the cat's meow. Sorry, Ryan, he's not horking books. He said he kind of feels sleazy about that. So here's what I would suggest, Ryan. Go out during the course of this week and buy the book. Bring it with you and he'll sign it. And then send it to me, and then I'll countersign it and send it back to you. He will value that book. I will devalue that book when I sign it. Jason Kinger saying he would take the 26-inch Weber kettle beyond all others. All right, I'm going to talk to you quickly about Cook Shack, makers of smoker ovens for barbecue lovers with any amount of experience, whether you barbecue in the backyard, on the competition circuit, or in a 5-star dining facility. Cook Shack has the unit that will do the job, and with a full line of barbecue sauces, spices, pellets, and wood chunks, it's the perfect one-stop shop. Cook Shack strives to be your barbecue resource center by offering cooking classes, online recipes, how-to videos, 2 blogs, smoke and grilling 101s, and a video cooking classroom. Check out their website at cookshack.com. or follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+. Get advice and share your passion for barbecue on their world-class barbecue forum. Cook Shack pellet-fired smokers are the choice of champions because they were designed by a champion, that being Ed Fast Eddie Morin. The FEC 100 and PG 1000, always customer favorites. The PG 1000 can double as a smoker and a grill, low and slow, hot and fast. The pellet grill line gives you the most for your money. Cook Shack residential electric smokers, the #1 smoker in the industry. High quality means high durability and versatility. Anything you can cook in your oven, you can make in a Cook Shack. Passion and dedication drives Cook Shack's manufacturing, with quality always being at the forefront. Get the best in barbecue since 1962. Call 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698, or visit cookshack.com. We're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Thanks again to Meathead from AmazingRibs.com for joining me the last 2 segments. Would love to get your reaction on if you could only take one. What grill or smoker would it be? Oh. My initial reaction was to say some type of ceramic. So I guess the scenario does have to continually be redefined. Does that mean that I have to take it with me wherever I go, or is this just one and I get to stay in my house? If that's the case, I would get that incredibly large, double, extra large Big Green Egg, whatever the biggest Big Green Egg they have is. Or I would go high level Weber Charcoal Summit because it can do both. See, that's where the argument is going to ensue. Big Green Egg or ceramic cookers in general give you the 2-cooker flexibility. All of them can go low and slow really well. All of them can go high heat really well. Weber Kettle or the Weber Summit Charcoal was billed correctly or incorrectly as a ceramic cooker killer. Or that's the market it was going to contend with, which I still think is probably not the correct assumption, but you have that too. A little bit less in weight, easier to transport, great cooking capacity, a lot of extras. So go ahead and rage on with that debate. We step away and reload for the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. Be right back.
Hello, this is Jenny Bell from Clarington, Ohio, and I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener. Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seed.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
Hey, just like that, we are into the second hour. Here we go. If you are a podcaster, welcome to the second hour of the show on your Thursday. Continually messing with the podcasters, trying to find that right, as John Dawson would say, nuggetization. I'm getting feedback. You know, there's a pretty large portion of you that say, I'm indifferent on how you release the podcast. I'm not a live listener. I am a podcaster. We see value in the smaller chunks that you've been dispersing over the last week and a half. However, we've been pretty happy with getting the 120-minute dump as you've done over the last 10 years. We download it, and then we can hit the pause button when we're done listening, and then we can hit the pause button again and pick up where we left off and visit the show or finish the show on our own time. So just to make sure I'm drawing the curtain back and being completely transparent, I'm just trying to find maximization of ease of listening for the podcaster only. Folks that are watching here live, you make the commitment, you're in for 120 minutes, you hear what's happening as it's happening. That's the best way to consume the show. But that's the least amount of people that make up my show audience do that. So I always say I like the live listeners best because, hey, we're all making this time commitment investment together on a Tuesday between 9 and 11. I don't really know. I have an idea of what's going to happen. I prep the show. I work the show. I book the guests. I create the content. I do all that stuff. But in the end, it's kind of a crapshoot, and we really don't know if that guy or gal is going to be there on the other end, or if their phone is going to suck, or maybe they really suck as guests and I didn't know about it because they're first-time guests. A lot of things can go wrong. There's a little bit of a loss in the podcast on how that's actually translating when it's not live. You know that the show has already taken place, so I think there's an element of risk and danger that is eliminated when you get it in podcast. When you're listening to it live, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? If there's a 2-minute gap of sound, the live listeners have to suffer through that. That's very uncomfortable. Makes me uncomfortable for them being uncomfortable, and I'm uncomfortable. But I'll wipe that out in the podcast just so they don't have to listen to that. But that's kind of the fun and the danger of the live show. So, as I've always said in the past, if you've never caught the show live, make it a point to check it out, see how it goes down from 9 to 11. I mean, ultimately, how you're hearing it on podcast is exactly how it went down, but there's something fun and energetic and spontaneous about a live show as it's happening versus being recorded in front of a live studio audience, which is basically how it is for the podcasters. So anyway, I got a little bit off topic there. So I'm just trying to find the best time frame, which seems to be in that 20 to 40 minute sketch, and then also not break continuity. When I had embedded correspondence on, I broke that section up into 2 segments, and a lot of people said, you should have just let that run the course because you broke continuity. I wanted to hear the end of it, and you just broke it off in between a break, and then I had to wait yet another day until I got that second portion. Now, the other side of it is I'm looking to obviously maximize downloads or listens. And that's really where push will come to shove. If I can maximize downloads over the course of 2 or 3 days, depending on how many segments I can realistically break out of it, and it's not offending the overwhelming majority of podcast listeners, then that's typically the route I'm going to go. But there is more production work on my end, too, to break it up instead of just hitting stop at the end of the night and then uploading it into the server, and away we go for that next day, and you get the 120-minute drop. So not to get too far into the weeds on what I continue to do there on the podcast side. And again, if you're only a live show listener, this completely goes over your head, and you could probably care less. Still to come on the show, Dave BOuska, Butcher BBQ. We might have some giveaways as well, depending on how he runs through his segment, possibly 2 segments. I wanted to get this out, especially if you are a lady pitmaster. Attention, lady pitmasters. There is a smoking announcement courtesy of the World Food Championships. Cowboy Charcoal Fire and Ice Women's Barbecue Series has just announced the addition of another Hot Pass qualifier, and it's perfect for those folks who are located in the Northeast, because Smoke in the Grove Barbecue Festival is now a Hot Pass qualifier. Whoop, whoop. Don't delay, Lady Pitmasters. Sign up for this KCBS sanctioned event in Pennsylvania, scheduled for July 27th and 28th, for your chance at becoming a Fire and Ice Series finalist, where you'll have the opportunity to compete for the WFC 2018 Major Championships and a shot at 2 major prize purses. So if you are a lady and you're a pitmaster, the Cowboy Charcoal Fire and Ice Women's Barbecue Series has been going on. This, I believe, would make for the 3rd year. Did Sylvie win it one year? Sylvie, did you win Fire and Ice the inaugural year, and then it was it Jana Tedisco won it last year? I think I'm right on that. So we'll see how it goes this coming 2018. But if you want to forego the points accumulations and all that stuff, show up in July. That would be 27th and 28th at the Smoke in the Grove Barbecue Festival in Pennsylvania. If you win it, you get a hot pass right down into the WFC for the Charcoal Fire and Ice Women's Barbecue Series. Got an email from a listener, Dan H. Sam's Northwest Barbecue reaction email. Dude, that interview with Sam was weak. All he did was talk about his relationships with his vendors and make his shout-outs. Where were the questions like, what's your best-selling cooker? And what cooker do you like to use? Or what trends do you see increasing in cooker sales? We don't care that he's friends with the Yoders or that he has all the owners' numbers on speed dial. I hope you don't take this the wrong way. Your show kills it and is the best in the biz, man. Your comments crack me up daily. Just thought I'd send you some feedback. Keep doing what you're doing. Man, I love the show. Dan H. Dan, thanks for writing in. I think. Dan, I would urge you to go back and listen to that segment again. I don't think Sam was overtly shouting anybody out. I think he had mentioned a couple of his product lines, which I did ask him to mention the top ones. Now, to your point, did we really get in depth on a consumer side? No, but I had a way that I was looking to steer it first, since I had never talked to Sam and I didn't have his background. And typically what I do with a first-time guest, especially so, Sam's unique in the fact that he has this really great retail spot in the Pacific Northwest. I don't really have a lot of contacts out there. Not a lot of people have a store like he has anywhere in the country. I'm sure there's a small handful, but he is one of a small handful that really do it in a way that a lot of us would like to say, hey, we have all this extra capital. We want to go into the business. We're going to open a live fire cooking and barbecue supply store, and this is the way we're going to do it. We would probably model after Sam as far as lines he's carrying, amount of inventory he's carrying, all that stuff. So I see Sam, before we even have that first interview, in a couple different scenarios. I see him as somebody who has a lot of knowledge from a retail side. I see him as somebody who could come on this show once a quarter and talk about this brand of cooker that he's carrying, and then the next time on this brand. We could have 3 years worth of segments if we bump them out once a quarter to talk about different things that are going on in his store or what the retail side is showing as trending as far as cookers are concerned, usability, reliability, support from manufacturer standpoint. So that's why I steered Sam's direction of interview the way I did. Wanted to get the background on him, why he opened the store, how he brought in lines, what his requirements are from a retailer standpoint, from a manufacturer side that he requires, what support does he require? And then when he's selling to the general public, what can a consumer expect when you're buying from Sam? So maybe there was some extraneous stuff that you didn't particularly get down with, or I didn't ask the questions yet on what you thought I should, but I was trying to set up a knowledge base of where Sam is operating from. So the next time I have him on, which is going to be the end of June at this point, then we can really start getting into trends that he's seeing. And again, he could come off a little biased because he is in one section of the country and the Pacific Northwest might be doing something completely different than what people in the Southeast are doing, or people in the Northeast are doing, or people in the Great Plains are doing. I mean, you get it. A lot of different places doing a lot of different things. So Sam will be able to bring his perspective, but he's not online, so he's selling specifically out of the store. So what he's seeing is in his region of the country, I guess. But Dan, I appreciate you writing in and giving me your feedback, good, bad, ugly. I'm always here to take it. Love it. And thank you for taking the time out. Didn't get to my Facebook rant. I will say that because who knows what's going to be going on next week. It's a crazy news time in this world, folks. Hey, let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills. By the way, that's a line that Sam's carries, by the way. Did I just say by the way 3 times? I think I just did. So you have some of the most reliable pellet cookers out there on the market, that being Green Mountain Grills. 3 different sizes to choose from. If you like the big stuff, you want to go Jim Bowie. You can probably put 8 pork butts in there, a couple whole packers, number of racks of ribs. You can also get an extra secondary shelf to double up that capacity or increase capacity. Double's probably a little over-exaggeration on my part. If you want to go middle of the line size, you can go Daniel Boone. Now, the Jim Bowie and the Daniel Boone, if you rip the guts out and you buy that high-heat pizza oven insert, both can accommodate that pizza insert. I highly suggest that if you're going to get the Jim Bowie or the Daniel Boone, you also just buy the pizza accessory right off the bat so you have it. You will thank me later on that, I guarantee it. Also, you can buy a whole bunch of Green Mountain Grill wood pellets if you want. They make those to fire those cookers. If you want something that's a little bit more portable, or maybe you want a bigger or medium-sized one, but then you also want a pellet cooker to take on tailgates or camping because you're into that kind of a thing, then you want to get the the Davy Crockett. This is the most portable pellet cooker out there right now. Tailgates again, camping. If you don't have access to a normal plug outlet, you can get the 12-volt accessory and plug it right into your car or van or truck or SUV, whatever it is. Now, it is portable, so smaller than the Daniel Boone and the Jim Bowie, but you're not sacrificing an incredible amount of capacity for portability. You can get a couple of pork butts in there without any issue, probably 1 or 2 racks of ribs, depending on how you cut them. And then you have the ability to use that Traeger. The what? The Green Mountain Grill wood pellet smoke to flavor your food. Get to use those wood pellets right there in the Green Mountain Grill. So here's what you do. Head on over to the website, greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com, and see what all the hullabaloo is about. We are back with Dave BOuska right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Championship Pitmasters are using Smithfield and winning with Smithfield. Brad Leiniger won 2 events back-to-back this weekend using Smithfield pork products. You can commit to cooking with Smithfield this 2018 season. You receive smoke and swag for participating, only a few requirements. Pay a small shipping fee of $25 and be a member of the sport's major sanctioning bodies like KCBS, FBA, IBCA, you name the rest. Be sure to come back, track your first place finishes in pork and ribs to win great prizes through the Walk-In with Smithfield incentive program. You can also use the hashtag ShowUsYourSmithfield on Facebook and Instagram as you grab those wins, victories, and or otherwise. So again, head on over to the website smokinwithsmithfield.com. My guest in the second hour, one of the longest running sponsors of my show, and if you look back over the competition scene over the past 10 years or so, one of the most consistent cooks out there from season to season this past weekend. Notched yet another grand championship in Oklahoma at the City of Springs Barbecue Championship in Sulphur, Oklahoma. Here to recap the win and the start of the 2018 season, as well as talk some barbecue business in general. We race to the Traeger Grills hotline and welcome back the pitmaster of the Butcher competition team, Butcher Barbecue competition team, Dave BOuska, joining me. Dave, how are you, buddy?
Hey, we're doing great, Greg. Thanks for having us on.
You got it, Dave. Always appreciate you making time here for the show. Well, we look back at this past weekend, Dave. Grand Championship takes 705.6, and this is just a recent string of plus 700-point finishes for you. I mean, you are out of the gate like rocket hot. How are you finding the beginning of the season?
Rocket hot. Been real good. We ended last year really strong. It's short memory for a lot of people, but we ended up very strong last year, and we just continued it on this year. Did a little side cooking, a little off cooking, played with a little bit of different methods, and just put them in place this year, and really liking what we're having.
Dave, this particular contest last weekend, as you would probably admit, not a huge team number that showed out, 17 total. However, some really good teams in there for sure, not the least of which my buddy Mr. Smiles, Donnie Teal, always tough to be certain. Can you attribute the lack of show out to this event to the time of year? Was it weather? Or is there a more pressing issue surfacing as it relates to competition barbecue?
Had nothing to do with the weather, had nothing to do with competition barbecue. There was another contest 2 hours north of it. It ended up with 27 teams. We had 2 contests in the state of Oklahoma, just real close to each other. This was the first year contest. It was paying $10K. The other one was only 30 minutes from my house, paying good money. I just wanted to go support the new contest, so we went down south.
It was just happenstance that they were scheduled a first time. So let me ask a better question. Does it hurt a first time competition to be scheduled on something where more teams went to the other competition?
I think it hurts any competition to be scheduled on top of another competition, especially here in Oklahoma. We don't have the number of cooks that hit it hard and heavy every weekend, week out, like what we do. Kansas City, those places have got hundreds and hundreds of teams. I don't even know how many contests they have a year. 30, 40 contests a year. We have 15, 18 contests. We've probably got a team base of probably 20 that do more than 15 a year. And then when you put 2 contests in the same state, it has to split. I don't care what's going on. It's just not good for barbecue.
Is that something that KCBS should have picked up on and decided to move one, or are you always just going to run into this regardless?
No, you run into it in other areas, but KCBS has rules for this. And if it's over, and I do not know the rule, it's an X amount of miles away. They say that there's plenty of teams to allow it to happen. Well, maybe in some areas, but not here. Wake up, y'all. Come on.
Dave BOuska joining me here from Butcher BBQ, butcherbbq.com, the website. Dave, as I had mentioned in the open, you're off to a really great 2018. This past weekend makes 2 grand championships already this season. You also have a reserve grand championship to your credit. Lest anyone forget, you also have 3 perfect scores and 3 700 pins. So you were talking about messing around with some stuff here and there, maybe in that off season. Would you specifically go back and point to some of those practices and some of those changes as being attribution for some of this great result happening right off the bat?
Yes, I would. One of the things we changed last year, we ended up the year with a perfect score in brisket and won that contest with over a 700. And at that point, I started coming with a new, I'm not going to come exactly what it is, but it's a new product for beef. And I've been playing with it all winter long, slowly perfecting it, and we're getting closer and closer to the market with it. It's not there, but it's getting there. Working on nutrition information right now with Oklahoma State University. When that gets finalized, we might go ahead and get it on out. But we have been playing with things. One of the things I've been playing with is ribs, and I'm having a devil of a time. I think I'm going to switch back this 2 weeks to a recipe I did several years ago, and we're going to see what that does. But as far as what I did over the winter, I actually did a lot more cooking, IBCA style cooking. Testing. I did a lot more IBCA testing because we went down and cooked the Houston Rodeo. But in the meantime, I learned some stuff on my own merit of what I felt like I was doing wrong. I how can I say this without sounding stupid?
Just say it.
It's going to sound stupid. It'll sound stupid. I overthought it. Let's be real. Keep it simple. I was overthinking my flavors. I was overthinking the cook process. I just went back to, like on my chickens. I just went back to when down there you got to cook a half a chicken. Well, I just went back to putting it on my hasty bake and cooking it off. Well, you know, the good, simple, basic flavor still tastes right when cooked properly, and that's just what we started doing again. Yeah.
So having the time in doesn't always necessarily relate it back to you're just going to be dialed in every single time. You can, even though you're a seasoned vet, even though you've amassed all these grand championships, reserve grand championships, you've been on the television, you can get to a point where you overthink and you're almost kind of catching yourself and making those corrections. So now you can start to re-experience that success overall.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to throw this guy under the bus, but eye-opener this weekend was I thought I had a really good rib. I handed one to who you just spoke about, Mr. Smiley, Donnie. I handed him the rib, and I ran back to my trailer, and we finished the cook. After the cook, he come over, and I was just asking him. I said, Donnie, what you think of my ribs? He said, you want to know the truth? He said, the only thing I liked about it was the tenderness.
Wow.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, damn, slam. Wow. I love the honesty. So it made me think at that point forward, wow, was it that bad? Is it that far off base? Well, I got to thinking about it driving home. My other 3 categories have went back to the basics, back to the simplicity, except for ribs. I was over-complexing them. I've got 4 different rubs on my ribs.
Wow.
I've got so much going on. It's just not a rib anymore. I might as well do what Meathead is going to do. I might as well crock pot the damn thing. But so I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to go back to basics. I'm just going to cook a rib.
When I talk to the pitmasters on this show and we start to really break it down from when you see a category start falling off, when do you decide to make a change? Are you a pitmaster, Dave, that will keep copious notes, color-coded notebooks and say, okay, well, this category is okay and this is how we're doing it, so we're going to continue on with this one, but hey, these ribs have fallen off over the last 2 and 3 and 4 contests. This is the process I'm doing. So now you have something that you can evaluate tactily and change, or are you not that guy and you have to go back off of memory on what you've done to try and make some adjustments to get you back into the right level?
I don't have stacks of notebooks with all that information. We've kept it simple. I do have all my cooking timelines and all that as far as from day one. I do have a spiral notebook in my trailer that I've got tons of recipes. When I test cook, it's in that notebook somewhere. But I've got my timeline, and when I say my timeline, it's very detailed. At 7:15, I do this, this, and this. At 7:20, this goes on this. So I've got that, but I don't. How can I don't get so analytic by studying the numbers. It's obvious if it's not hitting. I study each week's sheet. The judge's sheet on the front that they give you, if you actually read it and study it, you can figure out how the judges are liking it. It gives you the points that they gave you, and then it gives you the points that they gave all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So if they gave you a 32.7, but all day long they've been judging a 34, even though you might have won your table or fifth on your table, whatever, if you're not going to, if you got a lower score than the average, then you were below what that judge thought. If it was switched, and let's say you were fourth on your table, this is the greatest cry I hear from a lot is, I was first on my table and I only got a 163. How the hell can that happen? I placed 25th place. Well, even if you might have got a 163, you got a 28, a 28, and 28 from a judge, but all day long, all they gave was 24s. You still got the best score that judge probably gave anyway.
Yep.
That doesn't mean your food was the best food out there. That just means yours was the best food on that table. So first thing you got to do is be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, get over it, because you're not going to be a better cook. You have to be honest with yourself. And if you think that you got the best food every weekend, well, just forget it, because you don't. No one will have the best food every weekend, every time. You can't control your meat. You can't control the judges. So those two things are out of your realm of possibility. So just cook it the best you can, have a good middle-of-the-line flavor, and make sure it's tender. Go from there.
Dave BOuska joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Butcher BBQ and the creator of the Butcher BBQ brand products, of course. Dave, what's your 2018 season look like, let's say, from now until mid-end summer?
Right now, I'm doing about every other week. I've got a handshake agreement with the wife. We're down one truck. One truck's not working. So she shows miniature horses and cattle shows with our granddaughter. So she's using my truck. Actually, I probably could get away with saying I'm using her truck every other week to go to contest, while she uses the truck in the off week to go to the shows. So through the 1st of June, I'm every other week, no doubt about it. Chasing points, I can't say I'm chasing points no. I actually, this week was the first week I even looked to see where we stood, because my brother texted me and said we're doing good. Will I look at it through the year? I am not going to be one of those that's chasing points all the way to the end. I cook where I want to cook, when I want to cook. If I'm tired and I don't want to go cook and it's 115 degrees outside, piss on it. I don't care. I'm not going. But I do enjoy cooking, and I want to go and support the contest that's been there for a long time, and the new ones and all that. So I'll cook what I want when I want.
Do you think it would lend any more legitimacy or credibility, or take you to a different level of sales success from a business standpoint if you ran out for Team of the Year and you were ultimately able to snatch that title, or not?
Oh, yeah. I think I'd be foolish to not believe that. I think, yes, sales will go along with it. And in a marketing world, just like you're pure marketing, you're a marketing genius. You've taken talking into a small business, hopefully someday, in my opinion, that you get to make a full time out of it. But all that said, I started making posts on my Facebook business page of our placings and literally what I put on the product. each time I've done that, I've had stores call me and say, you need to either quit winning or send me more damn product because this is crazy. So, yes, it makes a difference. I don't have any classes. I'm getting asked that more and more. You can ask my wife. In the last 3 weeks, it seems like you're the biggest brother and the best friend of everybody that is having problems with chicken, it's having problems with pork. Whenever a team name starts popping back up there, they start getting the phone calls. I love talking to people. I think it's a great thing. So yes, people watch and listen to how you're doing out there. And I think some of it is not that they believe that you either quit cooking or you just started cooking. Maybe the flavor you have is what's being liked this year. And I think that's what a lot of folks are believing.
Travis Clark has won Team of the Year 2 out of the last 3 years. He has said both times after winning it that he's very appreciative, and it means a lot to him, but it's a very taxing task. Do you ever think that at some point this year you'll decide to make an all-out run for it, or do certain things have to happen in order for you to decide to make that run? Because in the end, I mean, it does become quite a grind.
Oh, absolutely. The highest I've ever placed in the Team of the Year, one year we were third in the Team of the Year, and that was the year I think I went to California once. So traveling around, yeah, we've done our fair share. Will I make that decision? I can tell you right now, I'm only going to do probably between 20 and 30. I've always done 30 plus. I'm not going to hit it nonstop hard. I'm not going to. I can't imagine traveling outside of a 4 or 5 state region of what we've got right here. Yeah.
Dave BOuska joining me here on the show. Dave, are you seeing any big trends this year that might buck the norm of seasons we've seen here in the past, or is it pretty much status quo?
As far as what, Greg?
Flavor profile, technique change, anything like that?
I'm still. If you walked into my trailer right now, on the left side, you'll see the very first smoker I ever took to a contest. I still cook on it. One of my FEC 100s.
Yeah.
The other side is a second one, and I cook on one of their PG 500 grills. I still cook the same thing. It doesn't matter. Has things changed? I don't know how much farther out in left field it can get, unless rules start changing from KCBS, from the barbecue community. There's just only so much extreme that can be put into traditional barbecue to be served to judges. Now, can boxes change? Can we start pulling different muscles out of the pork? I'm sure at some point someone will find the most perfect way to find their own spinalis muscle from a ribeye on a brisket. I mean, at some point something will give and change, and they'll be the hero for 6 months. But as far as flavors, I've went back to basics. I mean, that's the best I can tell you. I've went back to basics. Quit overthinking it, and let's just cook good barbecue. That's what I've decided to do.
Are pellet cookers still a force on the competition scene? I mean, I know you're a big proponent, big user of pellet cookers, but as you talk to the folks that are out there on the circuit, do you know a lot of people that are still using FECs or Traegers or Green Mountain grills?
Oh, I see a lot of them, but I think the hottest thing out there right now is the drums. There's no doubt about it. I've had one. Oh my gosh, I bought mine off of Tim years ago. I was cooking beside him up in I don't even remember Jeff Sith's contest, and heck, I paid half the price of what they are for now. And I took it on all of our TV shows. Every one of them, I had it. So it's been around. I've had mine for a long time.
Yep.
But right now they've caught on because a person can get into cooking multiple meats at different temperatures for a cheaper price. They're not spending $8,000 and $10,000 for an offset. They're not spending $4,000 and $5,000 for a pellet cooker. They spend $800. They've got one. $200, $1,600, and they've got 2 cookers. So it is a little bit easier for teams to get started. for those. Traegers are economical. They can get you down the road, and they're coming on strong. Traeger's got a great marketing program, and they're putting a lot of money in competition barbecue right now. So yeah, I mean pellets are out there, and I think they'll always be and they'll always stay. But I do believe that they're going to grow. I think every aspect will grow, and who's winning is what's going to grow.
Dave, can I hold you over for one more segment?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, stand by. More with Dave BOuska coming up out of the break. Butcher BBQ. Let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers. That's right, the #1 online shop for all things barbecue. Curated selection, only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies. Get you on the bath, the better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, Big Papa's has everything you need to be a better outdoor cook. Whether you're in the backyard or on the competition circuit, Big Papa Smokers has something for you. They're known for the championship rubs and seasonings, popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in the backyard. They offer 13 perfectly balanced flavors that transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. Whether you are cooking to impress the judges or grilling for family and friends, Big Papa Smokers award-winning rubs and seasonings don't disappoint. Pick up a bottle today at BigPapaSmokers.com. If you want to improve the cooking and the competition stuff, you can check out the West Coast Offense. They formed a partnership with Simply Marvelous Barbecue. And over the past few years, the West Coast Offense cornering the market on competitive barbecue, redefining flavor profiles that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. Big Papa Smokers has the online exclusive for Simply Marvelous Rub. Stop by their site and pick some up today. They also own award-winning Granny's barbecue sauce. Looking for a new go-to barbecue sauce that will please everyone? Granny's traditional yet powerful flavor reminds us why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. Find Granny's and other top-rated barbecue sauces at BigPapaSmokers.com. And aside from their premium selection of rubs and sauces, Big Papa Smokers also offers the very best pellet, charcoal, and wood cookers available on the market today. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out the Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers has the exclusive Mac dealer, and they even offer special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet smokers, you can try the Old Hickory Ace BP. That happens to be the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. And if you're a backyard enthusiast like me, looking for a durable and versatile grill that will last forever, the M Grill from Texas is just what you need. They're built like tanks. Coming out with a new one, by the way, the M16. Not sure what kind of grill you need? Can't really go wrong with any of the grills offered at BigPapaSmokers.com. They have something for every kind of backyard cook. It's clear that Big Papa Smokers is a place to go for all things barbecue. Every product featured on their website has been hand-selected to help you barbecue better. Boost your skills with the help of Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online barbecue store. You can call them toll-free at 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop their website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. More Dave BOuska right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
This segment brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via the Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're luck, because Fireboard fully integrated with both, learning new skills each and every day. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. Ted Conrad from Fireboard will be locked in for end of May, early part of June for an update there. All right, we're back with Dave BOuska here, Butcher BBQ. Dave, appreciate you hanging with me through the break here. I don't know if you're aware, but in a couple weeks, the WFC, or the World Food Championships final table, will be taking place in Bentonville, Arkansas, I believe in Bright Star, which is like some really high-end culinary school and staging event, and it's supposed to be really neat. Broken out in a completely different way. They've always crowned a winner previous to the next couple weeks at the end of World Food Championships in November when they usually have it, but they've stretched it out here a handful of months to do the final 10 here in the coming weeks. Have you been following that at all? And if so, do you have a thought on who has the best chance of winning?
I haven't followed it a lot. I did watch it all last year. So I don't even know who all's on there as far as for which category. Flat and be honest with you. I started doing our thing. I kind of like seeing the winner there. To me, it's kind of like going to the NFL, having all your playoffs, and then let's wait till next spring to have our championship. Things change that whole time frame. Oh my gosh, there's just so many different variants. I think that the winner should be crowned on those nights, that week, something that's the best at the time right there. Once you get to a certain point, you've got months in there that someone can start perfecting their craft that they didn't have the knowledge of before. Now that I'm at this point, I might go back to school and learn how to do this, which that they weren't that. Are they better at that down the road? Yeah, they probably are. But at the point of the contest, there's, my opinion, is strictly my opinion, the best cook at that time should be crowned the best cook at that time, not because of anything that's acquired after that.
All right, Dave, let's transition to the other side of Butcher BBQ, obviously doing very well on the competition side, but you have those products. And I actually have a question from a dealer of yours in Tennessee, also happens to be my embedded Tennessee correspondent, Steve Ray from Steve Ray's Midnight Oil. He wanted me to ask you what your inspiration was and when that led you to develop the line of rubs and then bring on that sauce and then bring on the grilling oils. Was it something that when you started competing, you were using these products and people said, hey, I want them too? Was it the opposite of that? You had them and then you started competing? Bring us back to that original time when the Butcher's BBQ products started their genesis.
Oh, that's a pretty easy but a lengthy answer, but I can sure get into that real simple.
Sure.
I used to shoot competitive archery. I was into that real hard and heavy, hurt my back majorly, had to completely get out of it. Competitive juices were still flowing. My wife and I was reading a little newspaper here locally and found of a local contest. We were kind of reading on the barbecue, and I was like, I bet I can get into that. I know a little bit about meat. I do a lot of smoking and sausage and had been in it for many years at that point. So we went and walked around. I actually thought, well, I could do this. So I bought my first FEC 100, came home, started cooking, and around here, what do you put on it? Head country sauce, head country rub. Go on. That's just we're in Oklahoma. That's what you do.
That's right.
And it was okay, but it wasn't what I tasted at this contest. And so I started playing with it here, and I actually started developing a rub, playing with it, and I was injecting already because we did a lot of that stuff in the meat shop anyway. So I played a little bit more with injections, and I used a lot more phosphate back then. And I actually, the very first contest, I cured my pork butt, completely cured it in about a 3-hour time frame using a product called sodium ethorbate. It's a cure accelerator, and I turned in a red pork butt. Red slices, red money muscle. Oh my God. I think I was 15th, 18th. It probably scared the hell out of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, my premium rub was the very first rub we ever came out with. I started playing with that rub before I ever went to the first contest. And I had tons of little Dixie cups all over the bar, labeled, numbered, notebook full of what all was in it, this portion of that, this, the other. And that was my base rub at probably my first 7 or 8 contests. I think I did 7 contests the first year. And that was my base rub for all of it. That next year, we started playing with the honey rub. I wanted something sweeter. And my whole thought with that was hell, everybody's putting honey on everything. Why don't we just put honey in a rub? So that's what I started doing. And we started making the honey rub. And so I had the honey and the premium rub was my first two. And let's see, my second year, we had our injection, and a couple folks at the American Royal I'd befriended had used it. They walked across the stage with it, and I thought, now there might be something to this. So we actually started marketing it. I came out with it. Ray Lampe helped me develop it. I would send him product, and he would play with it down there in Florida and send me back his results and his thoughts. And when I came out with it, I said, here's my directions. What do you think? And I'm a meat guy, and I was putting on there meat instructions. Well, and it was, he's like, no, you got to break it down. He put more recipe style. Use it more like this. And he told me how to write the directions more fluent to where the Joe public would understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we came out with a product, and that was our original brisket injection. And we had that out probably, well, it was by the time I started the second year contest, we had the injections and those two rubs were out on the market. Very quickly, we came out with our pork injection. And so things just grew from there. I was not ever thinking that I could make a living at it. I was hoping at some point that I could make a house payment, but I never thought I'd make a living at it. And here I am now. Let's see, that was my first contest was in 2007. And here we are now, 11 years later, doing what we love to do.
And you have a number of rubs. You have the sweet barbecue sauce. You have the injections, of course. You have the marinades and the bird boosters, and then the grilling oils. Were they all? Did you have the idea in your head that these were all products right from the beginning that you knew something about, or you knew you wanted to do something with, and that over time you would start picking them apart and introducing them? Or did they come to you at different points down the line saying, hey, the market could use something like this, or I see X product and I think I can make it better, so I'm going to decide to do something butcher related in that regard?
Oh, it came through down the line. It's a lot of this different stuff is things that I cooked with or how I cooked. And I'm like, well, how can I take this to market? Take the grilling oils, for example. For a long, long, long time, I would take the beef fat off the bottom of my brisket that I trimmed off. I would be smoking it while I was cooking the other big meats and letting it drip down on those meats because I love a rotisserie cooker. I love how rotisserie drips down on the other meats. So I put my beef fat above my pork and my brisket. I'd allow that to do that through the cook cycle. Well, when after I wrap this stuff, I'm done with it. And I was like, well, what can I do with this? My gosh, there's some good here. So I started saving that grease and stuff that I could squeeze out of it and start putting it on my ribs. And the natural oils that it was replacing was just phenomenal. I loved it. I probably did that several years. Well, the very first time we went to the TV shows, I was doing that, but then I was like, I'm not getting enough because they'd give you one slab of ribs or one this, and that you can't take. I couldn't take in my own stuff to cook like that.
Yep.
So at the second show, I had started working with this soybean-based oil, and that is how that all got started because I didn't have enough natural beef fat, grease / oil to cook with. So that's how that kind of got started. I remember Rod Gray was teasing me about it, different things. And what do you got over there? Oh, nothing, bud. Just keep cooking. Stuff like that. So, but then everything I've got is because of cooking. It's either what I've done, or someone would come up and say, "Hey, what do you think of this? How can we get this on the market? What can we do?" And I'd say, "Well, that's not a bad idea." He'd be the first one that'd get it because he could come up with it. But most of it just comes from cooks, myself, mostly.
Dave, let me ask you specifically about grilling oil here, and I know we did a little headlong dive into it, a handful of years ago when you first introduced it, but I was out, it was 2 weeks ago, this coming Friday, I was talking to a guy, a very successful business owner here in the near west side of Cleveland area, microbrew owner, a couple different restaurants of varying different fares. We were talking about, of course, live fire cooking and grilling barbecue, and I had mentioned your product, the grilling oil, and he had inquired a little bit about it, and I told him that the product was shelf stable, and it was soybean based and 3 different flavors. Told him my favorite flavor was the butter flavored, and he told me that, he's like, "Oh, you're going to get cancer and you're going to die." So I, of course, wanted to talk to you about it next time I had you on, so it's serendipitous that I only had to wait 2 weeks. Should I be concerned that I'm going to get cancer from grilling oil for any reason?
Let me ask you this way, Greg. Are you a good cook?
I think so.
Okay. The best way to describe that is if you believe every, and I'm not saying I'm pro or against it, okay? Don't get me wrong. But if you believe every report that everything comes out, you would also believe that WMDs were found in Iraq and Lee Harvey Oswald was all alone on the grassy knoll, okay? All that said being done, you can't believe everything you hear. And you need to read and study your own world. But the reason I ask you if you're a good cook, the reason oils will do that is whenever they hit their smoke point, when they start to burn, okay, they will start to break down and get rancid. And when it does that, there's a toxin that is released from the oil when it catches on fire, and that's what sets onto your meat. And that's what we would think as would be that burnt grease flavor, okay? That is what is they're saying is going to cause that has the ability to cause cancer, okay? If you can cook right and use the grilling oils properly, this isn't going to happen. If you're using it to stroke your fire with, there's nothing good about that. I mean, you're gonna really smoke out your flavor of your product, and it's going to get nasty tasting. But use it properly, everything will be good. It's built, it was designed to help naturally replace the oils that are cooking out of the meat. A hamburger, the smoke point of our soybean oil is 450 degrees, okay? Natural butter is 350. Animal fat, just animal fat, out of a hamburger, pork chops, stuff like that, it starts and it'll end right around 250 degrees. So a steak / hamburger, pork chop, that's going to release more of these believed to be toxins that cause cancer than your grilling oil will. How's that for your answer?
Fine by me. I just want to make sure that I was telling this guy the right thing. I mean, he went immediately back to you should just use real butter and blah blah blah. And it was the first time I met.
A higher smoke point.
Yeah.
Yes. But the thing that you have to remember, people believe in the butter, and I myself, I love real butter.
Sure.
And margarine is one element off on the gosh, I drew a complete blank. The element table from being rubber, and I'm not exaggerating. It's one element off of being rubber. Okay, so is margarine better for you than butter? I don't think so. I really like butter, but so there's all these different things that people really don't know. But do they understand it? That's the trick. Is sometimes it's not the understanding or it's the knowing. And it's what they're doing is the cause from the first place. Like I was saying, are you a good cook? That's what I started with.
Right.
If you know how to use something, it's going to be good. If you don't use it right anyway, it's going to hurt you. Gasoline. There you go. You use it right, it's fine. If you don't use it right, it's going to hurt you. I know that's stretching, but that's a fact. So that's what I'm getting back to with the grilling oils. We don't claim it to be a fire starter. We even have on the label, do not use over live fire.
Yep.
Well, you're going to grill, you're going to lose it over live fire. But its job is to help penetrate the meat and keep it moist and allow the moisture that is cooking out to stay in because of this. Use it properly and you'll be just fine.
Dave, we got a couple minutes left, and I wanted to ask you this. We'll diverge off the products here, but kind of keep it within the family, literally. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but can you believe it has been, is it 3 years since Levi's opened the Butcher's BBQ stand?
I'm so daggum proud of that. I'm excited. Yes, it's 3 years May.
Wow.
It'll be in May. He'll have his third year birthday. Super excited for him, and he's going to be a daddy for the first time. This November, him and his wife's going to have their first baby. So he's going to lot on his table He's going to be a 3-year-old restaurant owner and a newborn baby all in the same year.
Wow. And you're going to be a grandfather. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, right. No, you always forget about that. Easy to forget about, right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the restaurant has just continued to get rave reviews, great write-ups in the magazines. I mean, has it basically surpassed the expectation you guys thought it was going to happen, or did you anticipate really great things right from the beginning? Obviously, you didn't think it was going to take a dump, but I mean, did you think that it was going to be this good?
Now he might have. I can remember when we got started with it. I had an FEC 500 rotisserie. It held 500 pounds of meat, and that's what we were going to put in the restaurant. He told me, he said, "Daddy," he said, "I need a 750." I'm like, "Levi, do you realize how much food you can cook on a 500? Do you really realize how much it can turn out?" He said, "Dad, we're going to need a 750." So I called Stuart up at Cook Shack, and I said, "Look, I want to trade this in. What's it going to cost for the new one?" We made a deal. We went up, picked up the 750. 3 years later, we're cooking on 2 750s for 3 days a week open.
Unbelievable.
Yes. He's had to buy a second one since. He's built a whole new building out back, a whole nother commercial kitchen. Got the second one mounted in that. And a funny story I've said 150 times is I remember right after he opened, it was probably a couple of weeks, maybe a month after he was open, the mayor of Wellston and I were standing there talking. And Paul asked me, he says, "What's your goals for Levi?" And real quick, I looked at him and I just said, "Not to come home." So if you understand it, keep laughing. If you don't, just think about it.
Dave BOuska joining me here on the show. The website, of course, butcherbbq.com, longtime sponsor of this show, which I certainly appreciate. Dave, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Greg, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. Had a good time.
You too. There he is, Dave BOuska, Butcher BBQ.
All guests appear via
really
the
well
Traeger Grills hotline.
Don't come home, Levi.
Yummy.
That's right. All right. Close. Running up against it here. So let me talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru, the longest running sponsor of the show. Dave might be second now. Always believe outdoor cooking should be easy. That's right. The Guru does as well. And it can be, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control, greater freedom with automatic temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or barbecue pitmaster with minimal effort. You now have oven-like precision at the grill and can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. You head on over to the website, bbqguru.com. That's bbqguru.com. And don't forget about that new rib ring that is sweeping the barbecue and grilling nation. Get yours today if you can. Again, the website, bbqguru.com. And Bob Trudnak will be on here in just 2 weeks' time, I believe. All right, we're back to wrap up the show right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back as we race to wrap up here just in time, all the way back in the first hour. We had Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. We covered how to open your grill for the grilling season and the barbecue as well. Don't forget, pressure washers aren't bad. You can blow off the inside. Commercial kitchens keep their stuff spick and span. You might want to give consideration to that as well. He also talked about how Google is defining barbecue, which is sauce and a flavor profile, not a way of cooking. We disagree, but Google saith, so it is law. We also answered some of your Facebook questions. That was fun. Meathead will be in Minnesota this coming weekend, so check out his website for more information on that. And then in the second hour, we talked with the pitmaster of Butcher BBQ, Dave BOuska, butcherbbq.com. 2 grand championships so far this season. 1 reserve grand champion, 3 perfect scores, 3 700 pins. He's doing very well. Got about 17 to 17 to 20 more left on his schedule so far for 2018, so we'll see how that goes. And congratulations again to Levi BOuska for coming up on his 3rd year of the Butcher BBQ stand out there in Superior, Oklahoma. We have a big show planned for you next week, as always. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.